we have thrived by hosting hundreds of classes and events. And we've also offered many CE classes at highly reduced or even no cost. Great opportunity for professional development. Our government affairs team has been instrumental in helping to keep real estate an essential business during this pandemic. We are honored that so many of you have renewed your memberships with us by taking advantage of our unparalleled payment discounts and incentives. And we look forward to a strong end of the year and an even stronger 2021. Now I'd like to introduce our first generous event sponsor, Giovanni Pastrana with Cutting Edge Gifts, who will say a few words. Giovanni?
Sharon, thank you so much. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Giovanni Pastrana, and I'm just here today to talk to you for a few minutes about how to make sure your clients stay your clients forever by using your closing gifts, right? NAR says that 75% of agents give something to say thanks. You know, that could be maybe a gift basket, a gift card to Home Depot or IKEA, wine, champagne, flowers. I'm not here this afternoon to tell you your clients don't like your gifts. I mean, who doesn't like gifts, right? They're free. But what we found is that there's a main challenge with those gifts, right? 90% of gifts, our clients, they get them, they like them, but then they're consumed and gone pretty immediately, right? They're here today, they're gone tomorrow. The other 10% of gifts, you know, those might be ring doorbells, crystal vases, paintings. They kind of sit around, collect dust or dirt. They don't get used as much, right? So what we do is we just brand you forever, right? And what I mean by forever, I'm talking about the Cutco products. Now, there's usually always people on the call who own Cutco. If you're familiar with Cutco, I don't know if you guys, you can put in the chat box, that'd be awesome. I don't know if I could see that, but if you don't know about Cutco, we just take the Cutco product and we just brand it, right? With your logo, your name, and your number right there. It's gonna do a few things for your business. One, it's gonna keep you top of mind. If you haven't heard of Cutco before, made in America, guaranteed forever. It's like the Rolls Royce or Bentley of kitchen knives. It's 100%, guaranteed forever. It's been on the Discovery Channel and the Food Network. It's going to be the favorite thing that your client's going to use in their kitchen, and every day they're going to use it and think of you, right? The second thing, according to NAR, the most used room in the house is the kitchen, right? So when it's out, 4th of July, Christmas, Thanksgiving, where'd you get that sharp red knife? Oh, my realtor John got it for me. You've got to go check them out. 6 months later, 12 months later, when that client's in the market, they're going to be reaching out to your client. Who's that realtor we spoke about at Christmas? Oh, you know, that's my agent, John. You're going to go ahead and get that referral. Lastly, as I wrap up, because we put your branding right on the product, it's 100% tax deductible as a marketing and advertising expense. So you can write all of it off. So if you want some more information, if you're interested, what you're going to do right now is you're just going to take out your cell phone. You're just going to text me with your name and your email. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to buy you $100 worth of Cutco free of charge with your order, just as a thank you. So I'll give you my phone number now really quick, 954-303-9809. Again, one more time, that's 954, should be up here, 303-9809. Just text me now with your name, email if you have some interest in the gifts or if you have a closing coming up, and I'd be more than happy to help you. That's my time. Back to you, Sharon. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Giovanni. And yes, they are awesome. I will speak from experience. Okay, it's now my pleasure to introduce our 2020 YPN president, Peter Ortega, who I have had the distinct honor to serve with on leadership this year. Take it away, Peter.
Thank you for such an awesome introduction, Sharon. I'm super excited to learn from our 2020 Legends and Millennial Broward panelists. Again, my name is Peter Ortega, Miami YPN president, and today I have the distinct honor and privilege to introduce our moderator, Megan Probst. Megan is a second generation broker associate, currently licensed with Compass. She's a 2019 Millennial Panelist, YPN Broward chapter chair, with so many additional accolades and accomplishments under her belt. When Megan is not traveling and enjoying life to its fullest, you'll find Megan selling South Florida's premier luxury real estate. And of course, showcasing the beauty the Sunshine State offers our residents and visitors alike. So it's with great pleasure that I introduce you to this year's Legend and Millennial moderator, broker associate, Megan Probst. Take it away.
Thank you so much, Peter. And I just want to say thank you to everyone behind the scenes for organizing our 6th annual Legends and Millennial event. While we're physically not together this year, we are so pumped for this dynamic 3-part series, and Broward was able to kickstart the series. So let's get started with our legends. Where do we begin? While we all are familiar with today's legend panelists, they require no introductions. I'm going to do a little bragging for them. So we're going to start off with Patty De Silva. Patty, who's deeply experienced in the South Florida market and often working with professional sports players, entertainers, and celebrities. Patty De Silva is a well-known fixture in South Florida real estate. Since 2009, Patty has sold more than 1,080 homes, and Real Trends ranked Patty and Green Realty Properties the 17th highest selling broker-owned team in Florida in 2019. Patty credits her full service, hands-on approach to her sterling reputation, which has led her to receive over 900 plus 5-star reviews. Please join me in welcoming Patty De Silva. And now we're going to move over. I know we require applause. So now we're going to move over to Hap Pomerantz. With over 35 plus years of experience, no one knows and works Northwest Broward more than Hap Pomerantz. His detailed understanding and superior knowledge of the South Florida marketplace is almost unparalleled in our industry. With Hap's superior attention to detail and client relations, he has been recognized as the top producing realtors in his company many years over. And while his listings can be seen and syndicated all over the world, it's homes in South Florida where you'll find Hap. Please help me in welcoming Hap Pomerantz.
Yay!
Yeah, and very stylish as well. So now we're going to move over to Lori Finkelstein Reeder, a very familiar face to all. Lori Finkelstein Reeder is a true legend of South Florida real estate. Having grown up in the family business, Lori has dedicated her life in real estate and promoting our South Florida market. As a multi-million-dollar producer, Lori and her team are responsible for over $221 million in real estate sales annually, and has been recognized in the top 0.5% of 1% of all realtors in the nation. In 2019, Lori and her team helped over 680 families with their real estate needs. Please welcome me, Lori Finkelstein Reeder.
Yay!
Quite the accomplishments. So with that, we're going to get started, and we're going to start off with our first question. So this is going to go off to Patty De Silva. You've all really sustained success for a really long period of time. And what do you consider some of the keys to your success? Patty, take it away.
Thank you, Megan, very much for the introduction. I think that the most important thing for me is doing the right thing, even when no one is looking. That's how I just live my life, and definitely how I run my business. I also would say that hard work is number one. There's nothing that beats hard work, and consistency. You have to do the work every day and do consistently and do it well. I think that those are my 3 top tips that got me here. You know, it takes a while, but you got to do it consistently and you got to do it well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And with that, I'm going to move over to Hap. Hap, tell us what the keys to the success have been over this long tenure.
I too share a couple of those. Number one, you got to love what you do, because this stuff is so strenuous, and the pressure and all of the stress related. You better love it, be in it to win it. The second thing I do is try to be proactive every day. I don't just sit back and babysit, pending deals. I try to do something to create business. Y'all know what are the tools to do that. And I try to do that every day. The next one I've got is you better know your market, because product knowledge out there, everybody's on the internet and all the clients know it all. So you better know it all plus a little bit. Okay. So you better know that. And then the big thing, I guess everybody knows me for as my reputation. You better be excited and you better be nice to everyone. Okay. We are not each other's competitors, or I don't look at it like that. And we're all in this together. You know, buyers and sellers come and go, but realtors, we got to huddle together against the storm. So that, I think those are I've kept all of those over the years. I think that served me well, and more important, my clients.
I can certainly attest to that. Those are both really great points. And we're going to move over to Lori. Lori, can you tell us maybe similar or anything to add on to the key to success?
Absolutely. And thank you for your introduction. Saying my name is not the easiest, and you nailed it.
Get it?
Yes. Just to try to back up what Patty and Hap are saying, you know, you're hearing something really important, and that is consistency. You know, this is not something that any of us just did in a year or 2 or 3. It is, you know, having that goal and doing everything it takes. And a lot of us, I think, we have to express it. Being very successful can be a little boring. I'm sure both of them would agree. We're doing the same activities every day. I personally have made it a habit of mine to ask myself, I hold myself accountable heavy on, you know, why do people want to be in my world? Why do they want to work with our organization? You know, are we aligned culturally to give that consumer who's our North Star an exceptional experience? So I'm asked a lot of times, like, you know, how do you maintain the success and how are you growing? And it's a little bit of a boring answer, and it is consistency. And when it gets really hard, not deviating, right? The minute things get tough, you can rest assured that success is on the other side of that extra hard work. Regardless of where you are in the real estate wheel, there's so many different opportunities and so many different positions now in real estate. So I just tell people, when it gets tough and you feel like you're hitting walls, that's the gold is on the other side. You got to break through that and just don't take your foot off the throttle, and you win.
I couldn't agree more, Lori. And I think that's actually going to bring me into my next question. With the amount of longevity all have experienced in the real estate market, we've definitely experienced cycles of impacts. So I'm actually going to continue with you, Lori. If you could tell us maybe a milestone or monumental year, or it could be, you know, what we're experiencing now, and how that's impacted your business and how you've embraced that to in turn better serve your clients.
Yeah, and I love this question because I think we're going through a world pandemic, which has been tough on everyone, regardless of what's going on in your life. And I think as real estate professionals, we now have a bird's eye view on the fact that we are essential, we're necessary. So people get a little caught up, well, the market's hot, the market's soft, it's a seller's market, it's a buyer's market. At the end of the day, human beings are going on with their lives. They need to sell homes, buy homes, rent properties. So we take care of the human, and the human takes care of us. So it doesn't matter if the market, for us, the market's always good. We thank God we've never had a year where we didn't have growth. And that is because we stayed very, very focused. And I hope all of our millennials are listening. We stayed focused on serving that consumer and meeting them where they are with their needs. So it wouldn't matter if interest rates are high, if they're low, if it's a buyer's market, a seller's market, that's a distraction to the real estate professional. You guys see right now.
That's exactly right.
Right, Patty? So you know exactly. People need to buy, they need to sell, they need to do all of these activities. Do not be distracted by outside forces. Take care of the consumer.
I think that's great. And it's been really humbling to know that our industry it's leading, you know, to be essential, to have that opportunity.
And Megan, should things when the interest rate starts to creep up or we see a little bit of a shift, nothing should change. You continue with the same activities, you stay consistent, you take care of the consumer. People will still be moving, they will be buying, they will be selling. It's only when we allow the outside distraction of, is it a good market? Is it a bad market? I mean, it's always a good market. We're in South Florida. Everybody wants to come here.
And how about you, Patty, through the years? Like, what has been an impactful shift in the real estate market that, you know, you can share with those who are viewing?
You know, when I opened my firm in 2009, people thought I was insane. You know, nothing was selling. There was no lending going on. And I said, I saw opportunity when everybody was closing their doors and people were giving up their license. I saw an opportunity. And I agree with Lori. For me personally, for a firm personally, the market can go up and down, buyer's market, seller's market. It doesn't make any difference. People need to buy and sell homes. They do. They need to move. So that doesn't really affect us. And I have the pedal on get gas at all times. So that doesn't really affect us. Now, the day-to-day things do get affected. Of course, COVID had a really impact on people's lives. So we took, you know, I think that one of the things to be successful is to be able to make change happen quickly. You need to know something is coming and you need to be able to shift your focus and be able to adjust right away, which I think we've been very good at doing that. So immediately we talk to our clients, we put processes in place, and we really haven't had any decline from sales from last year. I mean, we really just continue to do what we do. I think that, you know, keep your focus is a very important thing. What is your goal and how are you going to get there? And if you just focus on that and just really tune out the noise, it's really one of the most important things that you need to do, because the people are going, if you listen to other people, you're not going to ever do anything. You're just going to, everybody has an opinion, right? And they don't live your life and they don't have your goals. So you need to put your goal and you need to say, what are the steps that I need to do to get to this goal? And you need to do that. So the market, you know, everybody wants to live here. So if the prices are high, sellers are happy. If the prices are lower, buyers are happy. So you're always going to have clients. You just need to be able to adjust, you know, to make tweaks to make sure that you can successfully help both sides and always provide the excellent service that the clients need.
More. And Hap, that actually leads me into a point that you just brought up about being proactive, which is very important. Right? So,
Sorry, that was me. Sorry. Anyway, that's I don't know. They're calling to buy or sell a house. Who knows? Anyway, go ahead, darling. Ask me the question again.
we were talking about, you know, a moment in time through the years that has impacted your industry, and how you have embraced those changes to better service your clients. And one of the points you mentioned off of Patty was being proactive. So
Yeah.
love to hear.
I agree. It's nice to go last because all your answers have been given by the other two. My notes are, it got to stick to basics. You know, every time everything gets weird one way or another, you got to have faith that the market will always be cyclical, and nothing's ever perfect. You know, if the lenders are happy, then the buyers or the sellers aren't. If the sellers are happy, the buyers aren't. And if both are happy, the interest rates can be high. You know, it's never a perfect world. So you got to go back to the basics. I love that answer. The other thing I got to tell you is that 1,000 people a day net move to Florida. You know, if you're good at what you do and you're consistent, sure, you better stay ahead of the market and know which market you're in. That's product knowledge. But boy, we're in a good place at a good time, don't you think? So if you just stick to what you know is true, people buy, people sell, they need us, and I just hang in with that and do your thing. And I can't believe, knock on wood, you know, we're the year I'm having has met all of you. You know, we're having a banner year. So that's why I just hang in there.
That's a great point, because before COVID, we were at 900 moving here. So we are in a very strong market. And Hap, I'm going to stick with you as well. And this question is going to talk about how you keep positive and motivated. That's important.
Thanks.
Moment, right?
Well, that circles back to the other couple of answers. is number one, I truly believe that we are all, as realtors here, we're all blessed. And I'm thankful every day that not only we get to do what we love to do, we can make a really good living at it. And if given those two motivational, things, it's not hard to wake up in the morning and get positive and be excited about the day, knowing that our business is thriving. And then it's also personal. I'm healthy. My friends and family are great. A great support cast. Life's beautiful. And then sometimes a good way to stay positive is, we're all affected. I think we all have either friends or relatives or that really don't have it so good these days, no matter what the situation, whether it be present times or even in the past, and you look at others that have such, just hard times. And that motivates me to be positive, to be thankful, to be humble, and to be motivated to what I do, knowing, how great we are. That's easy to stay positive. You just look at other people who are struggling, and I feel for them and give back what we can to help. So that does it for me.
I love that. I love it. I'm going to move over to Lori because I actually was looking at some of your YouTube videos on mindset. You talk about it a lot. So tell us how you stay positive, productive, even for your teams or agents as well.
Right. So I just wanted to say, well, Hap is happy because his name is Hap and he is always happy, which is awesome. Mindset is half the battle. That is half the battle. And for me personally, and for our organization, what we find, I know I'm going to keep using this word, but I'm hoping it changes some people's business for the better. And that's when you're consistent and you have a goal that's non-negotiable, you're focused. We have blinders on. We are very, very focused on helping people. For me personally, there's no option as long as God is blessing me and I have my health and I have this amazing life that I have. We just stay right here, Megan. And every day we're kind of doing the same thing because we're changing the lives of consumers. And the agents that are inside of our organization and our administrative staff, I think we're like close to 80 or 50. I don't know how many people work here anymore, but so their experience matters as much as our experience and the consumer's experience. So it's a lot about treating people with respect. It's about making sure that people know they're valued. For me, I measure business by my personal life, and that's what am I eating? Am I exercising? Who do I allow in my energy field? What am I watching on social media? What am I doing to protect my mindset? Because when you're leading, and Hap and Patty are clearly leaders in the community, it's speed of the leader, speed of the pack. So, for me, it's not optional. It's very much a protecting what I'm reading, who I'm talking to, my environment. I'm very, very straight, like I don't drink or anything like this. So I'm very protective about my lifestyle. And mindset also, I'm going to mention something I think could help everyone, is that when you become a master at pivoting and loving change, everything in your world completely opens as wide as you can possibly imagine. So it's really about protecting that energy around you, staying consistent with the same activities, surrounding yourself with the right people. People join us because of the community, because of what's going on in that mindset. Sometimes it's not about leads or support, it's about the mindset and the community. So for each of you, whether you're one agent or 50 agents, take a hard look at what's going on around you. And if you love it, go with it. And if you don't, maybe you infiltrate change. If you don't like what's going on in that energy, then you bring the new energy. Mindset's major.
Yeah, I can agree more.
Yeah.
In this environment right now, we have to expect change.
Yeah, and Patty had mentioned before, which I think is critical, is that when COVID came, a lot of people froze. Leaders had to pivot and we had to make fast decisions and fast changes. And that all comes from a strong mindset. And I think when we each individually figure out what's moving us, what excites us, you know, what that is, and we stay close to that, we can exude that to the people, to the consumers, to the agents, to whoever's in, you know, in your world. So being really clear that when something's not working, you know, you need to change and pivot. Don't wait too long. Right? Because sometimes if you wait too long, you get left behind.
That's true.
With that, Patty, how about you? How are you keeping positive and productive?
So I always believe that your attitude is your latitude, and it's true in life, and it's definitely true in real estate. You know, with my team, I keep a small team. I have the privilege to maintain a personal relationship with all of my agents. So they feel very secure with me. They know that they don't have to worry about leads coming in and production. So, and I think success breeds success. They really feel stable, and they know that my husband Chris and I, we really got their back. And I think that they really just can focus on doing what they love and doing, you know, and producing and helping the clients. They know that all the problems, I'm using the word, you know, COVID, whatever it is, Chris and I are going to take care of it. And they really just don't have to worry about it. We just give them guidance, and they know that, you know, we're going to have their back. I think that it's also important to, again, consistency. You cannot be successful if you're not consistent. And if you're not consistent, you're not going to be productive. And if you're not productive, you cannot be motivated. All of those things go. Lori mentioned the word boring, and I think it's funny. It's I know what she means. It's not really boring. It's just people, you know, they watch HDTV and they think that that's what real estate is like. It's not. You have to wake up every day at the same time, and you have to do your calls, and you have to do all the things that you have to do. And you have to do this every day, not for one day or two. You got to do this for months and years to you know, to be successful. So that's my.
Those are all great points. And we all have getting inspired by seeing how positive you all have been. With that, I'm going to shift because of course, South Florida has been an international destination. And now we're seeing different regions that are looking at South Florida specifically. So what buyer trends or seller trends that you're seeing or interests, and maybe something that has surprised you these past few months? And I'm going to start, actually, Patty, we're going to continue with you. What are you experiencing? Has anything surprised you these past few months?
I primarily list homes, so my perspective on both buyers and sellers come from a listing perspective. I'm going to say that the buyers, I feel today more than ever, are they're savvy. They know if they're going to get the property, they're going to have to pay ask or above. We don't have a lot of pushback on that. We did many years ago or many months ago. Sellers, on the other hand, are, you know, they're rejecting full price offers now, which is kind of funny. They that's how they agree, but they say, well, I can get more, and they probably can. I also feel that buyers are less inclined to want to do any type of work in the property, even if minimum, because they are paying such a premium for the property. I also feel that buyers really enjoy going to a listing that is it's clean, is well presented, which it doesn't happen all the time. And I think that the buyers really appreciate when that's done for them, you know, make sure that the seller is not home. Something that buyers don't like to see the sellers in the house, even in COVID, even before COVID, with COVID even worse. I think that those are, you know, the major points that I've noticed in the last few months, particularly. The buyers are really having to pay what the sellers want if they want to get the property, especially if the property isn't good. Multiple offers on all of our listings. I'm sure Lori and Hap are going to tell you the same thing. I mean, we have listings that have 19, 20, 21, 22 offers in 3 days. I mean, it's crazy.
Wild.
It's wild. Yeah, it's wild. But depending on the location and how the property presents, I mean, we have and going where Hap's saying, please be nice to each other. Everybody's trying to do the same thing. The agents have arguments outside of the listings. It's just, that's not how you win clients, or the listing, by the way, because if the seller can hear you fighting with another realtor in front of his house, they're probably not going to accept your offer, even if it's the highest one. You know, now everybody can hear and see everything. So,
And how about you, Lori? Maybe there's some trends that you're seeing as well.
Yeah, there's definitely a trend. And I just want to say something about what Patty just said, because I feel like it would be very valuable to everyone watching. And that is, you know, real estate agents, you all need to get along and fully respect one another. You're all trying to accomplish the same thing. And something that I learned 23 long years ago was that my biggest, best client would always be the other agent. You will do more transactions. I'm sure Patty DeSilva's company and my company have got every month closings on the book together. I can guarantee it. So make sure.
And not to interrupt you, Lori, but it's nice to work with somebody that you know is just gonna, problems are going to happen.
Yep.
But you know that both sides are just going to get it together and make it work. It's not personal. There's no arguing, there's no fighting, there's no bickering. All that drama just doesn't exist, which is so important. The clients don't want this. They hire us to have a good experience, not to hear about realtors having arguments. Apologies.
Patty is 100% correct about that, Megan. And so I made it my business a very long time ago that real estate agents would always be they're my coworkers, right? That's how that's how we help the consumer win, is how when we work together. And you know, that's very, very, very important that agents get to know one another. Listen, we're in South Florida. There is enough business to go around for an unlimited amount of real estate agents. So I get really excited about hearing from, you know, my team, and I'll just use Patty's team for an example. You know, hey, we're doing a transaction with Patty DeSilva's team or this team, and you know, it's a great great environment. So just learning to work together. But we do see a couple of really important buyer trends, and that is that buyers, they are paying big money for homes right now. I don't imagine this will be long lived, but their expectations are actually much higher as well. So yes, they'll pay over appraisal, they will give the seller everything they want, but like Patty was saying, that house needs to be in good order and that it's been well maintained and it's in a good area. So when for listing agents, really working with your sellers to let them know, yes, I can get you crazy money for your home, but we need to make a good first impression. We're seeing that 10, 15 offers on a property, but not if it's not in good condition. Those properties are still starting to sit a little bit longer. So I think buyer expectation of condition of the property has risen. And that's our job as listing agents to prepare sellers for that. The other thing is that for buyers, setting the proper expectations with them will go a long way for you amazing agents working with buyers. You take 30 minutes and let them know what the process is going to look like. Hey, you're going to be up against 10 other agents. We need to make sure your loan is ready to go. We need, set the expectation. And then when it happens, the buyer loves you. If you don't set the expectation and you're just a door opener, you will lose that client. So prepare your buyer and they stay with you forever.
I could not agree more with what both you, Patty, and Lori said about we're professionals at the end of the day. And if you want to have longevity in this industry, we need to respect one another. So we're going to finish off with you. What are you seeing maybe specifically in the Northwest market? Anything you would add, or are you also experiencing the same thing? And you're on mute, Hap. Hap. There we go.
First of all, I want to thank Patty and Lori. I'm learning all kinds of stuff, and I'm glad I do some of that too. That's fabulous. And you're so on point, it's ridiculous. Okay, so that's great. I want to add a different angle to it. We've seen markets change, sellers, buyers. It's shifted from we all agree it's shifted from a buyer's to a seller's market now. I'm surprised at two things. The first is I'm really surprised at the depletion of the inventory. And that's what rising prices is about. There, like you say, I get 10 offers, on one listing. There's way more buyers right now. And yeah, the caveat's true about there's many more buyers for the good, clean properties. So I'm not so, I'm not so amazed that the market shifted, but number one, I'm amazed how quickly that inventory has depleted. And number two, I'm also amazed at the speed of which it has flipped. Usually, when we flip markets, it's a trend over, several months, if not a year. I think we all agree it's flipped within the last 60 to 90 days, in a hurry. So that's crazy. And that's one of the trends. And yeah, you better be ahead of it. And again, I'm like my colleagues in that I'm predominantly a listing agent. And you better be ahead of it and prep your sellers. The last trend I see is that, let's say some of the challenged listings that have been on the market for a while, did I say dogs? Oh, excuse me, challenged listings are moving, okay? And that's the other trend. The market's turned, the market's strong. When, if you look at the pending deals every day, either they've been on the market less than a week, which is what, 90% of them, or you see some of them 200 days on the market, 300 days. You see some of those old listings that had problems or challenges in one way or another. Even they're moving, which is another trend. You ask about trends. Even those are selling, which is a trend that, now I've observed and, we're starting to come around to. That's about it. That's all I got to add on that one.
Those are good points, and I certainly have been experiencing that as well, Hap. So we're actually going to move in now. The Miami Association of Realtors, we have over 55,000 agents, members. It's incredible, largest in the nation. And so we have a lot of agents that are entering the market now to become a real estate professional. So I'm going to spin to this question, and I'm going to start with you, Patty. What advice would you give yourself now that you're reflecting back when you start, you wish you would have received?
Don't give up. They say to become an expert on something, you have to put 10,000 hours of work and that's 40 hours a week. That's 5 years. So, a lot of people say, I've been doing this for 6 months. I'm not seeing any results. You haven't had enough time. You have to put in the time. And that doesn't mean just have a license for 5 years. You have to do the work for 5 years. And and that's 40 hours a week for a real estate agent is very low. I'm sure my legends will agree with me that there were weeks that they put in more than 80 hours a week. And I've done this for months at a time. There were seasons that I worked 80 hours a week for months and months. So I think that really don't give up and get a lot of education. I mean, a lot of education. I personally hold 12 designations. So just learn as much as you can. There's so many opportunities now. You have virtual, you have class, you have, accreditations. Learn as much as you can and get a mentor. Sometimes you can get somebody that would just do it for free or very low fee, or your broker. Get a mentor. Do not do this on your own. You can make such grave mistakes that can really hurt your career long term. That happens with, in our listings, we have agents that they're the first deal. We help them. We don't let them make the mistakes, but we're like, oh my God, if we didn't catch this, do you realize what you're doing? They don't. Do not do it alone. Join a brokerage that's going to teach you, or find a partner that's going to help you, and just know you're doing this long term. And again, consistency and focus are so important. You can't, it's very difficult to be successful in real estate if you're doing this part-time. I'm not saying that you cannot do it, but you need to be available for the clients. So doing this full-time, if you really want to make real estate your career, you need to have a plan. You might not be able to do full-time today, but you need to have a plan to do this full-time if this is what you want to do as the career of your life. It's so rewarding, but it really is, it takes time. It takes effort.
I love all those. I think they're essential, and they would save a lot of time for someone who's looking at real estate as their career. So Hap, how about you? Tell us what advice you'd give yourself if you were starting out.
Well, the first thing I'd do if I was talking to my younger self now is I would have told myself to get a lot more rolls of quarters for all those payphones that I would have to stop at before the invention of the cell phone. So that's the first advice I give. I'd also get a stronger pen because we'd have to press through carbon paper, on contracts, that, I learned those valuable lessons, so that I would definitely tell my younger self that. The other thing I would do, coming into the business is absolutely nothing different. And I've got to give the credit in that my whole career, I had the luckiest stroke of luck initially. I had an unbelievable mentor. Patty just referred to it. If you can get, as you enter the business, if you can get with a mentor or join a team or, I think that was the most crucial. I had a guy many of you might recognize who just passed away by the name of Ray Barquette. He was the past president of the Fort Lauderdale board and all of that. I was very lucky. Ray was a visionary. Ray knew the business and Ray knew how to, just tell me, listen, kid, this is what you do, So I was very fortunate. I was very lucky actually to be guided. And the one thing that I agree with Patty is, that I knew, which if I didn't know that I might have had a different path, was I was prepared for the long haul. And the advice I was given even way back when, and now remember, I wrote my first contract on chisel and tablet. Okay, just remember that. Anyway, so the one thing I would go ahead and give myself advice was the fact that Ray would give me and tell me as a new kid, coming in the business, the most important thing was, do the work, and he set my expectations, in a realistic way. He used to tell me, kid, I wouldn't even count on making any money your first year in the business. And then he would come back and say, kid, even if during the first 5 years you scratch out a living, you're doing okay. And then he would finish with, kid, if you make it through those first 5, you're going to have a great career. And boy, didn't that play out. And isn't that true today? Sure, there's a lot of bright shining stars, that come in our business, but in the long haul, if you really want longevity and long-time success, it takes time to build a client base. And I think that's the best advice of all, is that be patient, be ready for the long haul, and then it'll be very rewarding. If you look at our top producers in our industry, we've all been around a while. But it's nice to see with the changes of the business now, how quickly, some of our millennials can come to success quicker, at a quicker pace because of the information age. But still the basics prevail. Be in it to win it, and be patient and be ready for the long haul. Done.
Thank you, Hap. And how about you, Lori? You're gonna wrap us up. So tell us what advice you would give yourself.
So I love what both Patty and Hap said. There's just such good information. And I think that people get into real estate, including myself, and I was born into a real estate family. I don't think I think we heavily underestimate what it takes. The amount of education, the amount of knowledge, everyone needs a mentor. It takes a little bit of time. And to piggyback on what Hap just said, an agent now that comes into real estate, I tell a new agent, it's kind of like you're going to boot camp. You've got to ready yourself for the front line. So 90 days, 120 days post your license. If you have done the work, and I'm talking working from sun up to sundown 7 days a week in boot camp, there is no reason why on the 120th day or the 90th day, you are not selling houses. I watch it on a daily basis, but people underestimate it. So for me, it is about education, practice, knowing your craft. And the thing I would tell every person listening, this is critical. This includes myself, Patty, Hap, and every single young agent, your database. Every single person you meet, be prepared to be their resource, their go-to, the real estate expert. Because we all know we are starting to now really buy back our business. With all the technology that's out there, anyone that is not listening to that and pivoting and changing and capturing data, we will end up paying for our data. Our particular team, the Miami Association, part of our onboarding. I hear agents all the time, they're not taking classes at the board. Are you kidding? This board is readying agents to go out and make money. So it's just drilling into someone. Listen, time on task will equal success. So getting out of real estate school, before it was like a year, 2 years, 3 years before you're really doing that. We don't need to do that anymore because we've got education, we've got technology, we've got systems and processes. I'm watching a bunch of rock stars come out of real estate school and I watch them sell houses in 30 days, only because they're treating it like boot camp. No one told me that 23 years ago. They told me what they told Hap. Oh, you got your license, you'll be making money in 3 to 5 years. I'm like, wait, I need money now. Just, being very gritty, being very committed and consistent. I think the three of us have used the word consistent until it's probably really boring. But that's the problem. No one wants to hear that. They want to hear like there's some fairy dust or magic pill. I guarantee you, Patty De Silva and Hap Pomerantz have put in amount of hours into this industry that are not countable. So it's just having that grit, that consistency, and never giving up, especially when it gets tough. That's where all the success is, on the other side of tough.
That all of these comments were invaluable. I thank you so much. And, we are going to our team will put all of your contact information there if anyone has any questions for you specifically. I just want to thank all of our legends for being so gracious with their time. And we're actually going to, and we're actually going to move to our second sponsor while we switch over from Legends to Millennials. But thank you, Patty, Hap, Lori. This was such a pleasure.
Thank you, Megan.
Thank you so much.
So with that, we're going to move over to Justin Bush with Cardinal. And I believe, Justin, this is another year with supporting our Legends and Millennials panel. So thank you so much. I'm gonna let you take it away for a few minutes.
Thank you all so much for having us. We obviously love our partnership with the Miami board. I'm not sure where I would fall. I'll be 41 next month. So does that put me in the millennial category, or am I out there with the legends? I do remember when I used to process loans with a fax machine, but I had a cell phone, Hap, so I was ahead of you. So I got you on this one, all right? Guys, I just want to introduce myself. I'm market leader for Cardinal Financial, Justin Bush. Our team is about 12 strong. We do cover primarily the state of Florida, though we are a 50-state GSE lender. Without getting into all the products that are available, I really want to talk more to what you guys are focused on, which is what you're seeing in the market. I've only got 2 minutes, so keep an eye out for your appraisals. Even if you have those buyers coming in, they're willing to pay more, or they're offering more than the contract price is. Make sure that they can cover the difference if they're going to have to push above and beyond that. If they're having to come out of pocket with the additional cash, this is something that we are seeing where they're purchasing above market. Appraisals are coming in a little short. They might not have the extra 5 or 10 grand. Make sure that your buyers are properly prepared for the market as is. Okay. Also, to continue to be kind to us as lenders, we are going through a more inundated process right now with especially our self-employed borrowers. All right, your self-employed borrowers are under higher scrutiny due to COVID. We want to make sure that the restaurant owners are back in business. Some businesses are doing better where many are not doing so well. Keep that in mind as well. That could hang you up. Even if you've had a pre-approval for a while, it may die in underwriting if your lender isn't taking the right approach. We do this up front. All right. Also keep in mind that there's a lot of condo inventory that's maybe not being utilized. We are going to start doing a condo class, teaching you how to sell more condo from both a listing standpoint as well as a buyer side. All right. So I will just throw up our, actually, Liz is going to add all of our information on the chat so that you guys have that. You can reach out to us if you have questions, things that we're maybe seeing in the market. But remember that us as lenders right now are going through the most loans that we've ever seen in the history of the world in mortgage lending because of rates. Rates are at all-time lows. They continue to stay low. So if you personally have a home or you have friends or family that have mortgages or maybe buyers that you thought you were going to sell their home for, now's a great time to get in touch with them about maybe shopping for a better rate. This is a great opportunity for you to touch base with them because you may find out that maybe they've got a friend or someone else that's looking to purchase right now, or maybe even sell their home. All right, so keep those things in mind. Our information's in the chat. Thank you guys for having us.
Thank you, Justin. And with that, we are going to move over to our millennial panels. I'll give it a moment so we can put them up on the display screen. Good, there we are. Okay. And hello, millennials. The legends certainly warmed you guys up. So while you may be newer to the scene, all of our millennials are no strangers to success. And as they have burst onto the South Florida scene within only a few short years, each has their own path that's unique. And we thank each and every one of them for joining us today.
Thank you for having us. Yeah,
thank you, ladies. So we're going to start with, I'm going to introduce Kishonna. I'm so sorry. Kishonna. So hailing from San Juan, Puerto Rico, Kishonna Guzman is a thriving mother of twins and a philanthropic leader within our South Florida community. She is the 2020 president of the prestigious Women Councils of Realtors Broward Network president, as well as the founder of Spark Her Change, a nonprofit organization based in Miami. An avid foodie and experience seeker, you can find Kishonna showing clients the best that South Florida has to offer while leveraging every moment to create memories. Please welcome Kishonna Guzman. Let me give a clap. And now we're going to move over to Adam Gerowicz, a South Florida native with a passion for real estate. Adam specializes in residential real estate across the Tri-County. He remains active in his community and is a member of key local organizations such as the Jewish Federation of Broward County and the Urban Land Institute. With a Bachelor's of Science in Real Estate from Florida State University, coupled with key positions held, Adam understands that this business is truly 24/7, and he's dedicated to helping his clients and his career with a serious strategic and consultative approach. Please welcome Adam Gerowicz.
Thank you, Megan.
And now we're going to move to the Heather and Ashley team. And I have to say, I'm excited because it's the first time that we're having a team on our Legends and Millennial panel. And we're excited that Heather McQuigg and Ashley Vesper make up the recognized Dynamo real estate duo, the Heather and Ashley team. In addition to their in-depth knowledge of the market, along with their white glove service, they're also well-known fixtures in the philanthropic organizations, donating much of their time to different causes and events throughout South Florida. Please welcome the Heather and Ashley team. So we're going to kickstart and get right into our first question. And this one's going to be geared towards Kishonna and Adam. I'm going to start with you, Kishonna. Could you tell us why, this is a great question, why you decided to choose the profession of real estate and what you believe has helped you become successful?
Kishonna.
Thank you so much. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me and for putting this together. Thank you, Megan. I would definitely say, and I always say, I didn't choose real estate. I feel like God chose it for me. He put me right in the middle of it. And I had never actually had a pleasant experience with a realtor before. unfortunately. So it was very, very interesting in the beginning. And I just went into it with everything that I have. Genuinely, I would say two things that I focus on. Number one is just caring for people. I think when you genuinely in this industry care for people, they can tell, that you're not just about the sale. You're actually genuinely following up. You're seeing how they're doing, especially in this time for COVID. It's how are their families? Did they lose their job? Is there anything that's going on with them that you could be of resource or value to? And then I think the second thing is definitely being active within our industry and giving back, whether it's being involved with the association, whether it's, finding a group that you network with and you can kind of grow your database with. For me, it's been the Women's Council of Realtors. It's an awesome national group that is very much referral based and just meeting and expanding the database, around the country. So those two things are really, really big that I would say is just genuinely caring for people and just showing people that you care, and then giving back, being involved. You've always been that way.
Thank you. I love that. And Adam, how about you? Can you tell us why you chose this profession?
Money is why I chose this profession, is one of the big reasons. No, the entrepreneurial spirit of real estate is wonderful. We get to wear so many hats in our business, be it from a consultative approach to how we're talking finance, social, politics, religion, all the stuff they tell you not to talk about with your clients. Being involved in the community is something I really enjoy, like you had alluded to. I stick to very tight circles where I've been doing my business. I'm local, so I grew up actually, I think my mother's watching this too, amongst a few other of my clients, but I grew up where my grandfather owned nursing homes, and they relocated from Montreal. They came down here in the late 70s, early 80s, and I grew up going to the nursing homes and seeing that from a hospitality perspective, kind of how the clients were being treated. And I would see my grandfather's friends, and I'd see what they were driving and where they were living and how they were entertaining. And it was something very appealing to me. When the Miami Dolphins were sold from Wayne Huizenga to Stephen Ross is actually when I got really inspired by real estate, because I was, first of all, like, who's this person just bought the team that I love, begrudgingly still root for them. But Stephen Ross with the related company is kind of where I got my big itch. So when I went off to school, I got a degree in real estate. I worked locally for a company called Hooper Construction. They're the construction arm to the restaurant people down here, and I kind of cut my teeth there. If Lori Reeder's still watching, I worked for Corey Edwards of Keller Williams Group, so the Edwards Group with Heather. I was one of their first hired people on the administrative side, and I really saw how systematized they were and a lot of the success that went into it. So I love the career. It's a beautiful career. We get to be involved in many different aspects of our local economies, and we get to meet, some great people. And I'm sure Hap, Patty, and everyone that's on this panel would say we meet maybe some not so nice people, but that comes with the territory. But it's a very fruitful career, and I really love it for those aspects.
Thank you, Adam. I'm going to move over now to the ladies, and I'm going to shift this question a little bit because I'm curious to know, could you please share why you decided to team up, and what do you feel has made your team successful?
So when we both started in the business, we joined a team, and I was terrified to do open houses together. She was afraid someone was going to come murder her. So I always wanted Heather to do open houses with me. And so we did open houses, and then we're working with buyers and sellers, and we started branding together and listing together, and we realized we were really making our own business. So
the natural next step was to just go off on our own, which everybody told us was a terrible idea. And we're like, great, we're going to go ahead and do that anyways. So we really attribute the success of our business to trust. And that's the foundation of the Heather Ashley team. When we decided to start our own team, we went to Barnes & Noble. We had these little notebooks, and we just wrote a business plan. And we sat there and we're like, okay, this is how many deals we have on the table. Those are going to be, solely up to you and your commission. But from this day forward, everything we do is going to be split 50-50, no matter the lead source, because we are marketing and branding together. So there's no way to really quantify where this came from and where that came from. So everything we do is 50-50. We share a Gmail, we share a Google Calendar. We also have the same drive and work ethic. And I think that's what's also helped make our team successful, is that neither one of us will ever let each other let the foot off the gas, so to speak. And I think if you're going to start a team just with another person, you both have to have those same values, because if you don't, it just won't work. And one of the partners will more than likely end up becoming like resentful. And then also what attributes to our success is Ashley's strengths are my weaknesses, and my weaknesses are Ashley's strengths. So therefore we complement each other very well. We're kind of a yin and yang dynamic. And I think that's what's just continued to help keep us on track and move forward.
I appreciate that, sharing that, because I know that there's some people who are watching that are considering the team aspect versus being a solo agent. So thank you, ladies, for that. So I'm actually going to shift now. It kind of piggybacks off of the last question. You all have remained successful during this challenging time. And, that's why you are on this panel, because we really want to hear from you. What would you say differentiates yourself? Because there's a lot of real estate professionals out there. And I'm actually going to start off with Adam on this one. Tell us what differentiates yourself.
Without cracking too many jokes, I think that the relationships that I have with my clients, I am very proud to say I haven't done a deal for a stranger in 4 years. I've only been doing this for 6 years. So the concept of just being, as our Compass sales manager likes to say, belly to belly with a lot of people. And I take a lot of time to take the in-person meetings instead of the on the phone meetings. If I can catch a coffee with someone, if I could bop into the office, if I can bring breakfast somewhere, if I could just show a little bit more effort, it's tough. I never wanted to build a business of 100 units plus a year. I wanted to do business with people I knew. And at the end of the day, I took a step back and said, I'll make less money in the beginning, but with a diligent effort and persistence to narrow in on the circles that I wanted to be their agent, it's compounded, where this year, last year I felt I was plateauing. And I was like getting to what Hap Pomerantz talked about the 5th year. Everyone likes to talk, if you make it through your 5th year, you're going to do well. But I was making it where I wasn't so happy with what was happening. And then this year has been, with everything going on, I feel really blessed relative to, some of the other peoples and professions that are out there suffering. But this year, I'm on pace to do almost 6 to 7 times the amount of commissions from last year in business. And it's not necessarily volume. It's the quality of some of the transactions that are significant, that are making a big difference. And it's also the quality of the type of clients that have come in, where it's not as argumentative, or they're not dictating. Maybe they're letting us, or myself in particular, do my job and guide them and tell them sometimes, no, we're not going to see that, I think Hap said that dog, that dirty dog. We don't need to go see that house. Let me do my job. Let me go preview. And hey, when I call you, one of those clients is on the phone, we're under contract. I called him, I said, you need to leave this party. You need to come to this house and see it right now. And they did, and we're closing in 2 weeks. So, that type of attitude, I think, is really important.
I think that's in line definitely with what Heather and Ashley were saying about trust. So that's great.
Absolutely.
Anna, how about you? Let's hear, how are you differentiating yourself?
So very much like some of the panelists have already said, I believe relationships are really everything. And so just wanting to build the life clients and not necessarily like a transactional one-time thing. So being able to, follow up with them and being able to just stay active. A lot of most of my clients are from, we're connected in social media, so they get to see kind of what it is that I'm doing. I see what's going on with them. I go like their pictures, I'll comment, and it's staying relevant with them, being their educational resource. I found that most of my clients have been first-time buyers, And the beauty in that is that I know that within this industry, I have the ability to help them leave a financial footprint and build that legacy through real estate, strengthen their financial legacy. And it's such an honor and a privilege to be able to do that, because when you think about it, so many had no idea that they would be able to purchase. And just by simply having that buyer consultation with them and helping them put the steps in place to get them there, they're able to go tell a friend. They're able to post about you on social media. They're able to go and, and now start thinking like an investor after they purchase their first property. And just doing that from the first transaction that I ever had, they've referred me, and I've been able to get 7 transactions from that. And that's just, one small example of the importance of building those relationships and being their lifelong realtor.
That was a wonderful response. Thank you. So I'm going to move over to a question that I'm really excited about, because I don't know the answer of this one at all. And this is going to be, you see a lot of mentors and real estate professionals out there that talk about the perfect schedule and what drives their success. So I would like to know, I'm actually going to stay with you, Kishonna, if you want to talk to us about what your daily schedule is like, and like what is one thing that you must do every day?
So I actually love this question because I'm very big on schedules. I am old school with like a paper planner. I actually use the Organize Agent, and I just keep it in front of me. It is extremely resourceful because you see everything right in front of you, like all of your numbers. And yes, I use a CRM, and that's kind of like another thing that I'm regularly in. But I think the one thing that I must do every day, that I do every day, is start off with a strong morning. Make sure that my mind is clear, make sure that I have my quiet time. I know what my to-do list is. I usually make my schedule every Sunday evening. So we have our family schedule, we have, where everybody's going, what everybody's doing, and then, the business, and focusing already on kind of like what your slots are, what your appointments are going to be, and knowing, if there's any events, educational events, things like that, you're able to kind of plan them out for the week. And then knowing the evenings that I'm working, just because I have the twins, and being able to kind of, schedule around them is really, really important. And if it's not on the schedule, it doesn't exist, so just being very rigid to that.
And I think we had a conversation in the past ones that you really dictated your schedule. Don't you have some days that are off limits?
Yes, absolutely. So usually there's one day out of the week that Sundays is really our family day. And the one thing that's non-negotiable in my house is eating together. So, just making time to have that one meal, kind of do a recap, know what's going on, and just making sure that my family is first, because it is a very, very crazy schedule that we can all have, but just bringing it back to the family, I think is very, very important. And there are certain times that are just non-negotiable. So.
Thank you. Heather and Ashley, I'm going to ask you guys, what's the schedule like, and what's the one thing you must do every day? No, non-negotiable.
We're definitely like unconventional because we don't keep a strict schedule. We don't actually time block. We do instead like a business plan, and we have annual goals, quarterly goals, and then monthly goals. So that's really the barometer that like keeps us on track for what we need to be doing every week and every day.
However, we agree with Kishonna. We do Google Calendar everything. So if it's not on the calendar, it doesn't exist. If it's on the calendar, we're doing it. For Ashley and I, the one thing that we do consistently, might not be a surprise to many, but we are constantly together. So we're either working 5 or 6 days out of the week together. And the great thing about having a team and having a partner is if one of us has like a personal matter or something else outside of the business, the other person will take over the tasks for the day. But the one thing we will do consistently is communicate. So whether we're together or we're not together, we're in constant communication.
And we share a Google Calendar. So all of our personal things are also on there. So we know when the other person isn't available and who needs to be there for our clients.
I love that. That's great. Communication is key. Now, we're going to move over to Adam. Adam, tell us, what's your schedule like? Any non-negotiables? One thing you must do.
I got to walk the dog first thing in the morning. I go to the coffee machine and I put my AirPods in and I start slamming the phones for about an hour and a half. I love to just, Kishonna was talking about social media. I have never done, I mean, this isn't, I guess, something so proud. I guess it's like a little badge of honor, but I've never done an email blast in my career. I don't know. I'm not as organized. I don't have a CRM. I operate from an Excel spreadsheet. I have a to-do list. I get to it sometimes. I kind of float around a little bit. I go for quality over quantity. I make sure I reach back out to my past clients. I can see Instagram stories, I think, is awesome. I love photography. I love videography, cinematography. I appreciate the arts. I love music. So I want to incorporate what I see from other major brands. So reading is I like to read a lot. I love to listen to different videos, podcasts, constantly consuming. I feel I do more of that than I do real estate during the day at times. I feel the real estate can be very easy to handle. It's a punch list. It's a process. We understand to start to finish what we need to do to accomplish an inquiry, to potentially moving them along the sales process. And then I like to fulfill my day with good, I would say good mental clarity, good habits. We're our own best cheerleader. My little sister's on this call, and I like to tell her, in between your ears, it's very important what you tell yourself. Lori Reeder was talking about the energy fields. It's a real thing. I've become, I don't know, some of my friends always use so mellow. And I think it's because I get beat up a lot by people on the streets. And we're taking a lot of people's problems and creating a solution. So what I like to do is really harp into creating a good armor and be able to service the clients efficiently with some good humor. I'm famous for slapping my clients in the ass when they walk through a property I think is going to be a good fit. I go, get in there, type of deal. I make them sit on the couch. I have fun with them. I typically know their parents. I know their family. So it's I go about it in more of a wholesome way.
And I appreciate the humbleness and the transparency that you all provided, because I think a struggle a lot of agents have is that they feel like they have to fit one model. So it's really nice to see a bit of diversity with your responses on that one. We're going to move to 2020. Clearly, this has been an extremely pivotal year in our industry. And, it's moving quickly, we're shifting. So I would love for you to share, and I'm going to keep with you, Adam, some key lessons or takeaways that you've received from specifically like your last few transactions.
Okay. Bethany, I see you're videotaping and tagging me on social media, so you're distracting me in the background there. But I see you. I see the phone.
2020 president-elect.
Yes, we see you, Bethany. I know you're there. What I take away, specifically my last few deals, I mean, I've been fortunate enough to hit price points I have never hit before, which is a testament to the networking and trust. Like, I feel there's a lot of synergy. We all have very similar values, which is beautiful to hear. And it's just taking a couple cheerleaders in our spheres to give us that opportunity to step up and make it happen, and show them that we can take the torch or the baton and move people along the process. 2020, obviously there's a lot. This is very overwhelming. It's very exciting if you have vast interests in many different things. I'm politically involved in a lot of things. I lobby, go up to DC a few times a year, which I got involved recently. And that's been something that fulfills me outside of real estate. So they talk about the hobbies, the income, and something for your mind, body, and spirit. So I think that's been good lessons this year to incorporate those things, because of how consuming real estate is and how we're on a lot of other people's schedules to accommodate them. So 2020 comes down for me. All of it's been top-notch relationships. and people calling you as the expert and thinking of you as top of mind and entrusting us to go ahead and execute for the introduction.
Great. And now we're going to move over to Heather and Ashley. Can you tell us some key takeaways, maybe lessons from 2020 that you can share with us?
I don't think we've learned so much from our last few transactions as we have in the last 7 months that we've gone through COVID since everything happened. What it's really taught us, and this may be just for Ashley and I, is we're like always planning for like the apocalypse. Like we never know what's gonna happen. You know, business can be tough, right? And let's just like be transparent here. So what we've always done is we've just always tried to stay prepared, and we're used to putting out fires. We're used to dealing with disasters. Like it's just what we've dealt with like since we've like been in the business. And I think that's what's given us like the strength to persevere, because we did start off like selling multifamily and like all these things. But besides that, what we really learned is you have to save. And I know you can only save once you start making money, but you have to save your money. You have to keep your overhead low, especially as newer agents. Don't go spending a bunch of money on postcards and mailers and
every system
that you can think of, because you're just going to go broke. We had no money when we started in this business. So if you're on this panel and you're listening as a new agent, please do not do that. Use the resources within your brokerage, whatever they are, to help you market yourself. So with that being said, it's just being prepared, save your money, and keep working even when it's hard. And because you don't know what's going to be on the other side of it. Don't keep yourself at a disadvantage. Nobody knew what was going to happen once we came out of lockdown, what the market was going to be like. And I think we're all pleasantly surprised. But had it gone the other way, a lot of people would have been driven out of this business. So just be aware of your business. Like keep your costs low if you're a new agent, and just stay prepared and keep yourself driven, because like you never know what's like going to happen.
Yeah, I think that pretty much covers it.
Always. And Kishonna, how about you? Lessons, takeaways?
I think my biggest takeaway in COVID has just been to trust your gut. You know, trust your gut and your systems. You know, you are the person for the job. If you are listening to this, you know, you have the answers. You are adding value to that client. You know, you are qualified. Out of over 50,000 realtors, they hired you, and you got what it takes to solve their problem and get them to that place. I think, you know, just trusting yourself is really, really important. And that's been one of my biggest takeaways during this time in COVID.
Can I piggyback on something here that Heather said? It's just, the day is like this. It's a roller coaster, right? I talk about real estate's like the wind. It blows, opportunities blow in and they blow out, and it's gone. And it was a one introduction that you didn't speak a certain language, or it just didn't vibe, or your energy was off, or your day, something didn't happen. You didn't just click. And I feel too many people are putting way too much pressure on either a productive day or a good day or a bad day. It's a day. We have our activities, we do them, we smile, we try and keep a clear mindset of this whole thing, but shit happens and it's tough. And the next day could be the call that changes your whole trajectory. You just don't know. So the positive spirit is beyond important. And there is such a common theme between what the legends are saying, what we're regurgitating here. I mean, look, this is obviously the language of the, this is winner language. This is keeping away certain energy, certain people, focusing on our ideal clients. So I think it's I love what we're hearing, and it's very important. It's a great year for this type of, for us, for people like us. I think it's a wonderful, it's a tough experience, but it's a good growth year.
Agreed.
Yeah, and it's very inspiring to hear, like when some people are at that moment where they feel like they're going to give up, if they just keep at it, they can have, an incredible year. So, and I love save money, not too many processes, trust your gut. I mean, we all you know when something's off. So I love that. So now we're going to go into, and Adam, we're going to start with you on this one, because I've seen you post about, I mean, we're in a hot market. I mean, it's undeniable hot market. And I've seen that you've posted some multiple offer situations that you've been in recently. So how are you preparing, whether it's the buyers, whether it's the sellers, for this environment? And, you know, what are you going to stand out amongst the competition?
Relationships with other agents. You guys are my contemporaries. I think that is tremendous. Clients of mine, we've dropped off cakes. We've written, it's absolutely mandatory. You have to write a letter to associate who you are with a photo with your offer. I do that every time. I have fantastic vendors. I don't strong arm clients because obviously they have the ability to choose whoever they want. But if you're working with me, you're going to work with my team basically. And I have my preferred vendors that I'm lined up because I obviously know they're going to get the job done. From Trick's perspective, I mean, we're on the buy side in particular. If it's a clean property, I know there shouldn't be any issues. There's no deferred maintenance. It's well done. We're going very strong on escrow deposits. I'm doing a very short inspection period. I'm typically teeing up my inspector as I'm getting my gut feeling about, hey, I think I'm going to make an offer on this one. What you got for me in a few days? I'm prepping them ahead of time. So I call it anxiously patient with my buyers. I just told the seller to go kick sand. You know, they were trying to strong arm my client into a terrible leaseback opportunity with a 48-hour window to leave him on the hook with the mortgage. I said, see you later. You know, no, I'm not going to do that. And fighting for your clients when appropriate, knowing how to push, how to put on the gas, off the gas, especially with your buyers. I'd say almost 80% of my business on the buy side is very important. And again, they have to trust you. The sellers, if they've signed a listing agreement with me, it's because I've shown them a step-by-step of, hey, this is what we're going to do to transact your property. This is my gut feeling on, but after we professionally positioned it, where to expect certain offers. And when it's a good deal, it seems right. I mean, I did an off-market deal in Boca for just under $4 million, a point lot, a tear down. And over a beer, it was a Cuban family. I wore a Guayabera, like I just played the part, like we were having a beer and it was hysterical. But I told them, this is where your first offer is going to be. This is where we're going to end up. And like, no insurance, hurricane season, COVID was just starting. I'm like, take the money and run. And they did, and they were beyond happy. And it's just, sometimes it's again, the relationship, the rapport, and pre-educating them on what could happen. So when it does, because we know it will, it sounds familiar and they're going to be confident to take your advice.
That's great. Now, Kishonna, I'm going to ask you the same question if you want to, in a minute or two.
Sure thing. Sure thing. I think it's important, very much like Adam said, you know, setting the expectation, whether it's for the buyer or the seller, you know, educating them on the type of market that we're in right now, making sure that if it's, you know, they know that it's going to be multiple offer situations. If you're going to an open house, you may be standing outside the line for an open house, you know, not to touch anything, you know, kind of reanalyzing your list, you know, making sure that, you know, you're going above and beyond to provide the sanitizer, gloves, whatever it is, you know, for this time, but that they're equipped and just being fast on your toes. I think as far as working with other agents, just making sure that you are the standout agent so that you're calling, you're following up, you know, you are making it easy for the agent. If you're submitting the offers, you know, I usually submit all the information in the body, you know, of the email so that they know the terms, making sure that there's, the buyers already have set up the letter that they're submitting. You know, I said a letter for the sellers. If there's a picture, it's already aligned, you know, and you just have everything ready so that when the perfect opportunity comes up, you are ready to go. And the one thing that I am really good about is just continuing to follow up, even if they're not the chosen offer, because I think at the end of the day, if you prepare the best terms, we've all closed transactions where, you know, we've served families that they were not the top offer, but you calling and following up and making sure that you were top of mind for the listing agent, you were the chosen one in the end.
Absolutely. I love that one. Now, Heather and Ashley, I'm going to ask you a little bit of a different question, which really stands out in terms of like working with buyers or sellers. What are some of maybe tools or websites, apps that you can't live without, and that essentially will help your buyers and sellers during this environment more than ever?
Well, social media is basically like our second job.
It is our second job.
So
It's not basically our second job.
It is.
It is our second job.
So we're really big, especially which is helpful for sellers and then for us finding buyers on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. We even put stuff on Twitter, but nobody ever follows our Twitter.
At Heather Ashley, in case anybody out there.
But it actually ranks really well for SEO. So when people are searching the things that we do put on Twitter, that's how people are finding us.
I think when we first started out in the business and we didn't have any money and we did not
We're like
have
back
a
to like we have
marketing back to we had no money. So we didn't have any money. We didn't have a marketing budget. So we really utilized social media to get our faces and our names and our brand out there because we really had no other resource to do that except like folding mailers and farming and doing things that were very low cost. And we still find social, IG, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter to be very relevant to our business today. It keeps our face out there. It keeps our brand out there. We plan our social media out weeks ahead. We keep everything consistent across all platforms. And, if you're a new agent in this business, take it serious, be consistent. We can quantify all the leads and all the business that we've gotten from social media because it really has been a lead generator for us.
Yes.
It's not like our main one, but it's part of our process. So if you're a new agent, utilize those free resources for yourself. Get yourself out there, post content, go to other people's, other realtors' social media, see what they're doing, but make sure it's organic. Make sure that it's you. Don't be afraid to not be yourself and take yourself too seriously. We make fun of ourselves all the time.
Yes.
And like,
that's what people seem
that's
to
what
really
people
like.
seem to really like. We
Yeah.
just like joke on ourselves every single day because there's always something to laugh at least to us. So just put yourself out there, show the business that you're doing. It will reinforce the business side of what people don't always see. Let them know what you're doing. Let them know you're closing. Let them know you're putting under contract. Let them know you're seeing. Let them see your silly side.
Let them see the bad days when you like lose a deal
and you like hate everyone.
Right.
So just put yourself out there. Don't be a secret.
That's great, ladies. I love that. And what's your social media handle?
Okay. On Instagram, we are at Heather and Ashley.
Right. It's always Heather and Ashley or Heather Ashley, depending on what they let us do.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. I love that transparency. Now it's amazing how many transactions, and it's free or low cost with social media. So that's a great tip. So, and now we're going to shift, which I'm excited about this one because it's non-real estate related. So we're going to start off with Kishonna. Tell us something that people would be surprised to not know about you.
So this one is kind of hard, I guess. I'm Puerto Rican, and in my culture, we are big meat eaters, and I don't eat meat. So that's that's something. And of course, just the giving back with nonprofit. I founded a nonprofit organization about 5 years ago. And that is an organization that we give bags of hope to women in need. A lot of the women that we service have been sexually trafficked. They've been abused. And so most of the time we don't get to see them or meet them. But we've given thousands of bags away with toiletries, Bibles, and journals so that they can journal through their healing. And it's just one of my favorite things in life to do is to be able to speak into the lives of women that have lost hope. So that's one of the things that I absolutely am passionate about.
And what's the name of the organization?
It's called Spark Her Change, and it's all one word.
Great. And your social media handle, because we'll learn a lot about you. You all are rock stars on social media. So what's your handle?
It's Kishonna Guzman, at Kishonna Guzman on Instagram, and then my full name as well on Facebook.
Thank you. Now,
and
ladies,
one thing that I wanted to add, I'm sorry, one thing that I wanted to add earlier when it came to social media is not just posting, but actually engaging, like commenting, responding to the comments, and then going into the DMs. Like I am all up in the DMs with everybody, you know, like instead of wishing them a happy birthday on their page, I go and I wish it to them, you know, personally, and just start conversation. And it's incredible how many people, like within a couple of weeks, they're like referring you somebody or like wanting to just come back around and say, hey, I'm gonna be talking to you about XYZ, you know? So just being personal and not just worrying about posting is important and being authentic in that way, but also DMs is something that I think is like overlooked often.
Well, I'm sure after this panel, you'll have a lot of direct messages. So now we're going to move over to Heather and Ashley. What's something surprising that people wouldn't know about you?
Well, even though we get along so well, we are actually complete opposites. Like there is pretty much nothing about us that is the same. We're like nothing. We're two opposite ends of the spectrum.
We use different sides of our brain. It's just like there's nothing about us that is alike except probably our work ethic and drive and the fact that we like get along so well.
Yeah.
So I'm a very like routine, regimented person. I'm a creature of habit. If I'm preparing to go somewhere on a trip, I have a legal pad with every single item detailed that I'm bringing. I have a staging area in my guest room where I lay it all out and then I check it off that it's there.
And then she like highlights and does all this like
and
stuff.
then when I put it into its place, then it gets scratched off. So I'm like a total lunatic when it comes to things like that.
I am not at all. If I'm going somewhere, like maybe I'll like go buy a dress and then like the night before on my way to the airport, I'm like throwing everything in the bag and I'm like, oh, I'll just like figure it out when we get there.
Yeah. So that's just a small example of how different we really are.
And did you know each other before teaming up?
We met many years ago. I mean, probably over 15 or 16 years ago.
Very briefly.
Very briefly. And neither of us really recalled it, probably about 2 years into our being a team.
And then I saw a picture of her and I was like, I met you. And like, I remembered like where it was. I remembered like who we were with. I'm like, we met for like 2 minutes and that was it.
And then we got reacquainted or really met for the first time again at a mutual friend's birthday party. And I was working at a boutique brokerage and she had started at the brokerage that we both ended up at. I'm like, I'm not making any money, but like I really like my broker and like he's teaching me all this. She's like, honey, if you're not making any money, you need to get out of that brokerage, like get onto a team.
Doesn't matter how much you like your broker, like you have to be somewhere where they're going to give you the tools to make money and like be successful.
Yeah. So yes, but no.
Right.
Ladies. And Adam, tell us, what would be something surprising about you?
This is everyone's favorite question, I guess, between if you're on like a job interview or something, and everyone likes to poke fun at, tell us something that's not the rigidness of an interview. As much as I'm over here preaching mind, body, and spirit, you'll catch me when I'm stressed at my little dirty dives that I like to go to. Be it like a bar that's totally obscure, sipping a tequila, or it's by myself on the beach, doing my, I don't know what, just alone time is where I kind of just decompress. Everyone says I'm pretty outgoing. And then I just want to watch the Heat game last night by myself type of deal, you know? I got a few spots between, a lot of people judge me because I love Skyline Chili. I'll go for my little Skyline, not the one on Federal because that place is terrible. They don't even do fries. It's the one on University or the place I've been going to since I'm 10 years old, Dairy Bell, French Canadian spot. My folks are from Montreal. So those are like little habits that I do, or I just book it. I just get in my car and I drive A1A and all of a sudden I'm like, shit, I'm in Palm Beach. I'm on Worth Avenue. It's time to turn around. Or it's, oh my God, I'm on South Beach or I'm passing Bell Harbor. And it's just, and those are the times though, when I'm just using my alone time to get away and get back to the normalcy of a wild day. And I wish live music was rocking and rolling, but we don't have anything going right now. I love all those things. So yeah.
And if people want to go on a cruise ride with you, what's your social media handle?
If someone wants to get in my car and go for a drive, is that what you're asking?
You know, on a cruise virtually through social media.
I don't care. They can jump in the front seat. It's at A Gerowicz. So first initial, last name. You'll see a few of my driving videos on there to different themes, different outfits, different songs, different locations. I had some fun stories there, but yeah, no, I enjoy it.
Well, thank you all for joining us. This has been extremely insightful. We appreciate the time and your participation with this panel. I've had the privilege of working with many of you, and I just wish you all continued success through these next quarter as we close out 2020. And I just want to remind everyone that's watching, this is a 3-part series. So we were very enthusiastic about starting in Broward. We have Jupiter, JTHS next, and then we'll be closing out in Miami. So if you haven't registered, please register. And we actually have in the conversation chat just more information, all the handles for everyone who's been on the panel today. What a rock star legend and millennial panel. And again, thank you guys so much for taking the time out of your day today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Sure.
Bye, guys.
Bye.